diys-by-dar, and this is Christmas in July challenge hosted by the Flipping Bunch, which I am a member of. 3 items under $25. Here was my first one. This was a pair of skates. They were $5 from Goodwill. And let's see what a maximalist does to these. So the first thing that I am going to do is take some Stazon Ink and some stamps from IOD from the Winter Adornment group. I just found some small ones that were festive, and I'm going to stamp my stamps with this ink. It was a little bit sticky, which maybe was pretty good for this, because once you set it down, you need to leave it there and not smear it around. Press it as firmly as you can on that shiny surface, and a surface that is not really firm. So I wanted to get these skates filled with this beautiful white floral type Christmas design. I wanted to get all of the skates done, both of them, all the way around, and then I was going to go from there and create skates that look like this, at least on one side. I used IOD's transfers, and this is old from last year, a Christmas set. And with any transfer, you peel it from the backing, you put it where you want it to go, and then you start rubbing with your fingernail, a burnishing stick. I knew this was going to be a little bit tricky because this was very movable, the surface, and I just had to take my time and slowly burnish that on, and I was able to get these on without too much problem. You always want to take and slightly burnish those down to make sure they're stuck well. And there's my 3 little ladies, and I just love them. They're so cute. Here are my skates. I am finished with this aspect. Like I said, one side is going to be looking like this, and then the other side will be the side with the transfers on it. So from this point, I pulled the type of material that was in the top. It was kind of messy, and it had glue globs all over it. It was not looking real pretty, so I knew that that had to go. And before I worked with the skates any further, I took some Rustoleum satin clear enamel, and I did spray just my transfers because I do not want them to go anywhere, and I taped off the laces. Once I got the other portion out, what I found inside was just a bunch of packing bubbles. So I was going to fix that, as well as pull the tongues up and keep them in place because they were falling down a bit. So I'm going to use this Star Bond CA glue, just a little dot, put that in place, and I just clamped it for maybe 5 minutes, and it was really set and good to go. I picked a new rope, and I put it through the hole that they already had, tied a knot on the end so it would not move anywhere, and fished that through the other skate. And now I have a rope that these can hang from. Some lovely ribbon, half price, Hobby Lobby. But before I put that in, I'm going to stuff some tissue paper in the top, just so it looks a little bit nicer and a little bit neater when you look in that bottom if you pull that ribbon out from the top. So the ribbon itself, it is a wire-rimmed ribbon, and I am just going to tuck that in all around the top of that paper, and that is what I ended up with. And here's the skates. I love them. They are really cool. Now a window picture frame, $5, Goodwill. I'm up to 10, and this is just the cutest frame. Really nice condition. The back was good. I don't think it was ever used. So I have some somewhat Christmassy pictures picked out for this, and after I cleaned it and dried it in the sun, I took some matte Rustoleum paint and primer in one in the color French Cream, and I went ahead and I gave the back 2 coats and let that dry well before I brought it in and continued to work on it. Now I have a little roller that was for wallpaper seams, but this is excellent for doing some rolling to give you a pattern. And this is my first color, which is an Annie Sloan chalk paint in Paprika. And I'm going to go ahead and roll this all over the top. And then the areas that I can't quite get into because of the roller, I am going to use a small palette knife and fill in some of those other areas. To my next color, which is a Dixie Belle paint. It is a chalk paint in the color Weeping Willow. Same drill here. I'm going to roll this on, and when I get to those areas I can't, I will use the palette knife. My next color is a Rustoleum chalked paint in the color blue, and this paint was a little watery. So you can see I had a bit of a problem where it went on heavy there. You do need to pay attention to that viscosity of your paint. And I finished that off with my palette knife, and I am ready to scrape. I have a razor blade. This did a really odd thing. I'm not sure what type of paint was on here. I did sand it before I put my chalk paints on, but when I went to remove some of the paint to let more of that cream color show, it almost was if I was burnishing it. So the paint was kind of burnished down. And I was all right with that. It was looking pretty good, but I needed some more cream color in there. So I took some Cotton by Dixie Belle chalk paint. I mixed that up really watery. So in between spattering that paint on in different areas, and then I also had an eyedropper that I used to drop some drops on it, I was feeling a lot better with the design. Now here are my pictures. They're my cute little Christmas bunnies holding little Christmas bouquets. Now, Stazon Ink again in black. Did you know that just take this and run it sideways along an edge, and you can get kind of an old black filled in edge. Guillotine cutter. Yeah, we used to use those when we were like 10 years old in school. Not anymore. Now I'm going to make a backing with a heavy cardstock paper and just affix these to those with my glue stick. And this is in the color purple, which is great. You can see it. And it's also acid-free for papers, so it shouldn't cause any problems. I get my picture lined up, and then what I'm going to do is just take and cover it before I roll it down firmly with my brayer. And I am going to go ahead and get all 4 of these completed. Then we're ready to move on from there. I have this point setter. It is a HM515 from Amazon. I'll link it in the description. I'm not sure if they have any more yet. They were out last time I looked, and you could put a little point in. Now, the glass is back in. It's cleaned. And I'm putting my picture back in, and then I will get that back on and take and bend those little points over. And I had to put a couple extra ones in there because they fell out or they were missing. I'm checking my placement. It's looking good. There's all 4 of them. And I really like how this turned out. You can hang it on the wall. Number 3, a little sled from Goodwill for $3. And then these cute little trucks that I did get both of them for $1 a piece. I know I want to put them on there. I'm thinking more towards the front. in some type of arrangement in the back. I kind of set that arrangement there before I wire it together, and I'm thinking how I'm going to keep that in place. So I am wiring my little bouquet on this little strip of wood with some floral wire. It's looking good. That's where I'm going to set that. Let's see if my trucks will fit on there, and they will. So that's a win. I will continue on. It's looking good. Alien tape. Now this is a double-sided tape that you can use with a lot of different things and a lot of different weights. You just kind of pull it and stick it down. Then I will not have a problem with putting that little piece of wood that has the floral arrangement on it on top of that. Plus, you can remove that and then also just pull those pieces of that tape off. And so far so good. I need a bow. All right, I'm gonna make one. And this is the quick way that I make a bow. I have about 9 inches there. It's gonna be quite a large bow to take up the whole front of that sled. So I'm cutting 7 pieces that are the same length. I'm going to fold them in on themselves and try to find that center point so they're even. I'm going to fold them all up and I'm going to lay them one on top of the other in a nice little stack for myself. When they're stacked, I have a tie wrap, and I am going to grab this bunch. It's quite a thick bunch, and fold it in on itself and put this tie wrap around the center and cinch it down as tight as I can. Now I have some floral wire. I'm going to add a piece on and just secure those flaps in a little bit better, and I'll use that wire to help attach the bow. You're going to take each one, pull it upward, and twist it. You can twist in opposite directions, and this is wired ribbon, and I really prefer to use that quite a bit. And we're at the point now where I want to put something in the center because it doesn't look so pretty. You could leave the bow like that. I'm going to cut that tie wrap off, and I have another piece of my ribbon. I am just going to double it on itself. And I am going to wrap that around that area that doesn't look so nice, from the front to the back, and simply just tie it in a knot. And then I will have my 2 ends that can come down, and you can cut them on angle, whatever angle you'd like. Since it's wired ribbon, it will go pretty much in the direction that you want. So you could leave the bow exactly like this. It would still look really nice. But I'm going to take and fluff these all up. So that's going to require I go inside every loop and fluff it up until I get all the way around this bow. And then I'm not going to worry about the fluffing a real lot, because you're going to have to fluff it again once you attach it to whatever you're putting it on. So there it is. I am going to add it on the front of my sled with the 2 wires that I left. And I'm going to cinch that down really tight and twist those wires, but don't twist your wires around too much because you don't want them to break. Alien tape again, a little piece on the front. I want to lift the back of the truck up because it has a surprise inside. Here we are. Let's check them over. Let's thank the Flippin' Bunch, which I'm a part of, and I am diys-by-dar for this challenge. Check the playlist out for all the other artists. Now, the Flippin' Bunch is a podcast every Wednesday night live at 7 p.m. It's made up of us four gals. If you'd like to be notified, text to 814-515-4905 or send an email and say live to flippinbunch@gmail.com. Please like and subscribe. I want to thank you for watching. I have to say I'm sorry for how choppy my vocabulary is today. My family is having some severe medical issues. I'm not quite through helping everybody yet. Maybe by this weekend, one of them will be taken care of. But it's been really tough on me, and it's been tough on my lupus, and today I'm starting to hit the wall. I have 2 more days before I can bring my dad home, and hopefully everything goes well with this pacemaker defibrillator. And my son's father, who is on a ventilator because of alcohol withdrawal, and he got into some trouble. We're not sure how his brain is going to be. He's right now at a rehab center for some rehab, and we're trying to figure out what to do with him, and it's just been really hectic. There are a couple challenges coming up, August 2nd and August 30th. If I can get some pieces done, I will participate in those on my regular at diys-by-dar channel. Thank you so much, and any prayers would be greatly appreciated for my family.